Actually, I want to begin by having my opera moment, which is to hug the two beautiful Indonesian girls who just sang our national anthem. Ladies and gentlemen, can I have your attention, please? Can I have your attention, please? Ambassador Rashad Hussain, U.S. Special Envoy to OIC, Assistant Secretary of State Kurt Campbell for East Asia and Pacific. Thank you very much, everybody, for coming tonight. 65 years ago, on 17th of August 1945, our nation declared independence. It was a momentous time in international affairs. 2 weeks earlier, Truman, Stalin, Churchill had met in Potsdam. Berlin had already been divided into 4 sectors. New political elites were rising up across Asia, and the UN Charter had just been drawn up. Indonesia proclaimed independence at the dawn of that new world that was coming to form. And after that, the struggle for decolonization spread throughout the world like bushfire. In Asia, Vietnam declared independence 2 weeks after Indonesia. The following year, the Philippines, India in 1947, Sri Lanka in 1948, Cambodia and Laos, both in 1953, and it spread to Africa. Egypt, 1953, Sudan, 1957, Guinea, Nigeria, Senegal, Algiers, Ghana, and the United Nations, which began with some 50 member states, today has about 198 member states. The political map of the world changed forever, and let it be known that the Indonesian Revolution made that first leap in the epic struggle for statehood in the non-Western world in the 20th century. I wish our founding fathers who ignited the revolution could see what has become of Indonesia today. Much of the things they dreamt about have become living reality. Freedom, emancipation, equality, opportunity, progress, unity, tolerance, democracy. These things are at the heart of today's Indonesia. Indonesia today is no longer measured by the variety of our problems, but by the scale of our transformation. We are no longer burdened by our past, but driven by our present and future prospects. In all my lifetime, I tell you that I've never been so optimistic about being an Indonesian today. We are now a middle-income country, a middle-power country, the world's 3rd largest democracy with political stability and economic dynamism, and the largest middle class in Southeast Asia. The Indonesian Revolution that brought all this has a direct spiritual connection with the American Revolution. Our founding fathers were inspired by the ideals of John Adams, Thomas Jefferson, James Madison, George Washington. The spirit of the Declaration of Independence lives on in our Constitution of 1945. And the American E Pluribus Unum, out of many one, is identical with our Bhinneka Tunggal Ika, which is unity in diversity. And it was more than a spiritual connection. The United States supported Indonesia's independence struggle, including in the UN Security Council, and even Secretary Dean Acheson put his weight behind Indonesia. And American diplomats brokered a tough diplomatic negotiations that led to the transfer of sovereignty of the Netherlands to the new Indonesian Republic in 1949. Indeed, the Indonesian Revolution and the American Revolution were all the same. It was a struggle for the God-given right for freedom, justice, and the dignity of man. In the words of Bobby Steenberg, this was a former U.S. Navy pilot who joined Indonesia's freedom fighters. And he wrote to his family in those days, and he said, I quote, "Everywhere you go in Indonesia, the people shout their slogan of Merdeka, freedom. The people are poor and haven't proper clothing, transportation, nor weapons. But they will stand to the last man against the oppressor. It is pretty wonderful for me to see a people who believe in the freedom that we Americans enjoy, ready to fight for the achievement of this beauty. Bobby disappeared in Indonesia and his grave was never found, but there was no question that he died in the cause of freedom for Indonesia. That historical connection and shared ideals live on in the comprehensive partnership that Indonesia and the United States are building now. This is a 21st century partnership that we hope will be inaugurated by President Obama when he visits Indonesia in November. I look forward to working with all friends here to enrich that new era of bilateral cooperation between our countries. And tonight, let us honor that friendship, that partnership, and let us celebrate Indonesia's independence and Indonesia's revolution. I now have the honor to ask all of you to raise our glass to the good health of President Susilo Bambang Yudhoyono and President Barack Obama, and to the continued progress and prosperity and partnership between Indonesia and America.